I'm Mike Sargent. This is Reelworld. I'm going to talk about 5 films, 3 big films that are out. So I'm going to talk about One Night in Miami. I'm going to talk about Soul, and I'm going to talk about Ma Rainey, all that came out Christmas Day. And since I wasn't on Christmas Day, I'm going to talk about those. And then there's 2 smaller films that are worth note. One is a film called Dirty God, and another one is a film called Two Ways Home. First, we're going to talk about One Night in Miami.
You brothers, you could move mountains without lifting a finger.
Minister Malcolm X.
Good news, the chariot is coming.
Who's the greatest? That's right.
Jim Brown takes the ball.
Your record is going to stand the test of time.
All together, yeah. The entire city of Miami is celebrating. I'm the new heavyweight champion of the world, and I don't even have a scratch on my face. Oh, my goodness.
Cash on Cash?
Why am I so pretty?
Hey, congratulations, champ.
I can get used to that.
I was made in America, land of the free, home of the brave.
This movement that we are in is called a struggle. Because we are fighting for our lives.
Welcome to America.
This ain't about civil rights.
Welcome to America.
They ain't giving black people what they really want.
What's that?
Hey, I was made in America. That's why I'm out here saving America.
Power.
Black power. I like the sound of that.
I wish I lived in America.
We have to be there for each other.
Heard everybody rich, all I gotta do is run, jump, kick. I'm a kid in your area. I done made it to America. I'm amazed at America. Welcome to America.
One Night in Miami is based on the play by Kemp Powers. It's about the night of February 25th, 1964 in Miami, where Cassius Clay, this is before he was Muhammad Ali, had just won World Heavyweight Champion of the World. And he, Jim Brown, Sam Cooke, and Malcolm X essentially get together and discuss the responsibility of being successful black men during the Civil Rights Movement. The play first performed in 2013 and went on to win 3 LA Drama Critics Awards, 4 NAACP Theater Awards, and an LA Weekly Theater Award for Playwright and Direction. The film stars Leslie Odom Jr., Kingsley Ben-Adir, Aldous Hodge, and Ellie Goree. The film is the first film to be directed by actress Regina King, and it's a powerful piece of drama. It's absolutely worth seeing, and one of the powers of the piece, and clearly of the play, is just how resonant it is to today. The issues that these black men are dealing with and what the country's dealing with and where we are essentially with civil rights and racism has unfortunately not changed that much. I highly, highly recommend seeing this film. I think it is a film that will make you want to go back and look up more about every single one of these icons that are portrayed. Jim Brown, Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, and Sam Cooke, who many people know the name, but don't even realize how much of his music they're aware of. The next film I want to talk about that is somewhat related is a film called Soul.
Music is all I think about. From the moment I wake up in the morning to the moment I fall asleep at night. I was born to play. It's my reason for living. Hello? What the? What? Oh my goodness, oh my goodness! Help! I'm not done! Holy, oh my goodness!
This week, the council. There's a soul missing. Is this heaven?
No.
Is it H-E double hockey sticks?
Hell? Quiet coyotes. No, it's the great before. This is where new souls get their personalities, quirks, and interests before they go to Earth. Here we are. Don't worry, you can't crush a soul here. That's what life on Earth is for.
me get back. Come on.
This won't be a disaster, that's for sure.
You're out there somewhere, little soul. And I'm gonna find you.
Life is full of possibilities. You just need to know where to look. Don't miss out on the joys of life. Like pizza. I can't smell. We can't taste either?
All that stuff is in your body.
No smell, no taste.
Or touch. See?
Okay, I get it.
Disney and Pixar's Soul.
Get ready. Your life is about to start.
Start streaming December 25th.
Soul is a Pixar movie, and it premiered on Christmas Day on Disney Plus. And it tells the story of Joe, a middle school band teacher whose life hasn't quite gone the way he wanted, but his true passion and what really moves him is music, specifically jazz. And he's a very talented player. But he's never quite made it in the business, but the day that he in fact gets the opportunity of a lifetime, he loses his life and becomes a soul. And essentially the film is about what it is to have soul. To me, soul, it has clearly several meanings. Soul, there's soul music. This is clearly the first Pixar with African Americans protagonists at the center of the film. The main character is played by Jamie Foxx. It stars also Daveed Diggs, Tina Fey, and a number of other terrific talents, including Donnell Rawlings as the barber in one of the most memorable scenes in the film. What makes this film very interesting on many levels is not only that it tackles very spiritual and esoteric concepts, and in a film that is specifically directed towards kids, a la Inside Out. How are you going to represent these things without offending somebody? How are you going to represent the afterlife, heaven, hell, all these things? Soul is amazing in that department, and clearly it's something that Pixar has done very well. But what really gives soul its soul is how authentic it is, not only to being an artist and to the music of jazz, but specifically to African American culture in this country. And that's largely because of Kemp Powers. Kemp Powers was brought in to work on the story to, well, pardon for lack of a better term, blackify it, when Pete Docter, the film's original conceiver and director, realized that if they want to make this set in a jazz world and they want to make it an African-American character and they don't have anybody at that level, story level, at Pixar who is black, they had to bring in somebody black. And Kemp Powers, with the pedigree he had, seemed like the perfect person. He was so good that they extended his contract past the month or two that they had and made him a co-director on the film, as well as co-screenwriter. And now he has two films that came out Christmas Day, both Soul and Pixar, that are largely, pardon the pun, powered by Kemp Powers' ideas and script. So I, of course, would recommend Soul. It's enormously creative. There's so many things about it that work. There's so many things about it that you wouldn't know how it is going to work, and it does. I absolutely recommend Soul, and I think it's about time. After Coco, which was Pixar's first film where they had a protagonist of color, because they've had cars and fish and all kinds of other things, but never specifically a person of color, Coco and this have really helped change the narrative and show that our stories of people of color, whether they're in cartoon form, documentary form, throwback to something having historical real-life characters, they're stories that are worth telling. The last film I'm going to talk about that's as big and had a huge release is Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
A one, a two, a you know what to do. This be an empty world without the blues. I try to take that emptiness and fill it up with something. But they want to call me Mother Blues. That's all right with me. It don't hurt none.
Way down south and
Where's the horn player?
I got a friend Come on, Levy. You rehearse like everybody else.
I'm gonna get me a band and make me some records. I know how to play real music, not this jazz music. I know what I'm doing. Go on and fire me, I don't care.
When I got there, they began to say.
That's to get the people's attention. That's when you and Slow Drag come in with the rhythm part. Me and Cutler play on the break.
Levy, the sooner you understand it ain't what you say, it's what Ma said to count.
We'll be ready to go in 15 minutes. We'll be ready to go, and Madam says we're ready to go, and that's the way it go around here.
These records are gonna be hits.
Every colored man in the world got to do his part. I'm gonna tell the white man just what he can do.
They don't care nothing about me. All they want is my voice.
About them songs I give you.
They're not the right songs, but I'll take them off your hands for you.
I got my time coming to me. You don't know nothing about what kind of blood I got, what kind of heart I got beat here. Come on. Come on!
Wonderful. We got that boy. Good session, Mom. We got ourselves a winner. Yeah, you did.
Ma Rainey's Black Bottom is based on the play by August Wilson. It's directed by George C. Wolfe, and the screenplay is by Ruben Santiago Hudson. Now, if you're a New Yorker and you know anything about theater, you know all the names here. The music's composed by Branford Marsalis. The producers are Denzel Washington, Todd Black, and Danny Wolfe. Denzel Washington, who had been in some of August Wilson's plays and knew the author personally, when August Wilson passed, he decided to buy all of his work and vowed to produce all 10 of his plays. This is the second film based on that play, and though he's not in it, he is a producer. Ma Rainey was a legendary blues singer and a real-life performer, and she wrote at least a third of the songs she sang, including many of her most famous works, like Moonshine Blues and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. They're all classic standards in the genre of blues. The story of Ma Rainey's Black Bottom takes place all in one afternoon at a recording studio in 1927 Chicago, and her band, which is played by great actors, Chadwick Boseman in his final performance, Glenn Turman, Coleman Domingo, and Michael Potts, are all the band members. Viola Davis plays Ma Rainey, and she's electric. Every time she's on screen, she's almost like a supervillain. You don't know what's going to happen. She's totally commands your presence. You don't know if she's going to chew somebody's head off. You don't know if something's going to happen to her, if she's going to do something to somebody. She has so much tension and gravitas to every time she comes on screen, and it's not very often. It's called Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, but it's really about the Black Bottom. It's about her band and what goes on between those 5 men in a room downstairs as they're rehearsing, which is the main setting of the play. The film has a number of things about it going for it, besides the performances and the dialogue. Specifically, the context of what is going on in the world right now. There's a scene in the film where Ma Rainey gets into an altercation with a cop on the street in front of the studio, and a crowd gathers around, and she's confronting this white cop, and she does not back down. And when she doesn't back down, you fear for her life. You fear for her life back then in the 20s for a black woman to stand up to the police, and you fear today because you know how this story could end the exact same way. So it's a very, very powerful film. So much has been said about Chadwick Boseman's performance, and it's all deserved. He gives an amazing performance as a character, Levy, who really kind of is the pivotal character in the piece, and he's a trumpeter in Ma's band. And I don't want to give away, if you don't know too much about the story, just know that it's about music, it's about respect, it's about so many things that have not really changed today. I highly recommend Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. The next film is a film called 2 Ways Home.
Kathy, we're releasing you at the end of the month.
I know that you wanted the extra time, but we are positive that you are ready.
I just feel like they're going to see me as who I was then.
Of course they are. And now they're going to see who you are now.
Corey.
What?
home.
Yeah. I don't think you can help your grandpa. I don't think it's safe for him to be on the farm. He's not well.
I'll make it safe. I'll make it happy. I'll make it nice. He can live out the rest of his life there. He wants his dignity, and I intend to give him that.
After all these years, you think you're just gonna swoop in here and fix all our problems?
You're not in charge of me, Kathy. You were a ward of the state.
Well, I'm still your mom.
You're trying too hard.
Where's our daughter?
Kathy's drunk again.
Why'd you hire her? She has a criminal record, you know.
You know, your mom and I both have made some bad decisions in life. She feels like she's not good enough for you.
She isn't.
I just like to put us into this little box so that we're not human beings, we're just a thing.
This is way bigger than anyone thought. This is still going on.
Oh, I'm sorry I couldn't cuddle up next to you and say, honey, I'm bipolar.
Two Ways Home is about a young woman who has bipolar disorders, and she's struggling to not only rebuild her life and reconnect with her daughter, but to honor her grandfather's last wish. And this film relies on the performance of a central character, which is played by actress-producer Tana Frederick. It's directed by Ron Vignon, and it's a great screenplay by Richard Chino. This is a film that is not a message movie, though it deals with mental illness. It deals with a whole lot of issues and has a lot of things. It's something that zigs when you think it's going to zag. And Tana Frederick is really terrific in it. She's an actress who's been around for a while. She's theater trained, and we got a chance to talk about why she wanted to do this movie, what this movie meant to her, how she could relate to it as an actress, and potentially the future of smaller films like this.
With Two Ways Home, for me, it was really to take the shame out of one's condition, you know, sort of dealing with single mother who's bipolar. I really wanted to make a film about with something that would help people, that was something that would sort of change people's perspectives in terms of how they looked at mental health and how they looked at their own mental health. That filmmaking has been really, really gratifying. I feel great storytelling because it's something coming from Iowa. I filmed it all in Iowa, and it was a true story for me because, you know, people say write about what you know, write about what you see and what you've experienced. And so this for me was a lot of mothers in Iowa. This was a lot of mothers in the Midwest where it's not a sort of sensationalized piece about mental illness being something where the person becomes a mass murderer or the person becomes so downtrodden in their diagnosis that they can't exist. It's something that sort of eats away at them at everyday life, or has the potential to eat away at them at everyday life. And the heroine in this story, which I was very lucky to have been given this script by Richard Chino, a family friend, and to sort of craft and look at within myself, goes back to her family and doesn't ask for forgiveness for what she is, but rather says, this is what I am. She accepts who she is. And in that respect, she transforms her family and their attitudes about her. She wears it with pride. And I think any sort of mental health, or even if it's not mental health, whatever people are going through, whatever sort of adversity that people are faced with, when you sort of accept that situation within yourself and stop apologizing for it within yourself, that can create, you know, such waves within yourself, within your family, within your community, and such strength, you know. And I think right now, especially, there's never been a better or a more necessary, I should say, moment where we need people to be kind to themselves, be considerate to themselves, you know, in terms of mental health, in terms of people being very much in destitute places, financially isolated. It's really a huge turning point in the world right now with everything that we've been seeing. And so this sort of multi-generational story about PTSD on the part of the grandfather, played by Tom Bauer, and mental health adversity and challenges with my character, and the fact that there is overcoming that is such a great and necessary story. And from the people that we've seen and we've been able to screen it in front of that are at like National Alliance for the Mentally Ill, who, just to give a shout out to them for endorsing the film. Thank you for that. Have really been touched and have really seen themselves in these characters in a beautiful way, not an ashamed way. So to me, that's good storytelling when you make people are able to say, yeah, been there, done that, doing it again tomorrow, and I'll be okay.
There's so many themes, reconciliation, redefining yourself, but something that really struck me is that's the nature of being typecast. People have, you get typecast in a family, you get typecast as this, as that, mental illness, typecast as like, oh, manic depressive, that's what this is. But it's the same thing as an actor or an actress who can be typecast. So I wanted to know how, if you could see that relation, how you might see, how you could relate to how she was being treated because of what people thought she was versus what she was becoming.
Gosh, that's a great question. That is such a great question. I think that's a great, there's a line in the film where it's like, my character is chastising her mother for her mother's sort of ability to compartmentalize her grandfather as being, my character's grandfather as being an alcoholic, and my character as being bipolar, and that compartmentalization fits in, makes her mother's mind work easier. And I think that makes a lot of people's minds work easier in life. And that's sort of my compassionate take on it. Unfortunately and fortunately, I think it's so much, life is so much more gray than that. When I moved out to Los Angeles, everybody has an opinion about what part you should play. For me, it was, I'm the girl next door. You're not a leading lady. You're the girl next door. You'd better put on a pair of glasses and start being funny, because there's no way that you're going to do drama. There's no way that you're going to, even get film. You're commercially viable, blah, 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 blah. And I think, starting from day one of me moving there, it's just like, it's our jobs as human beings to keep breaking down those black and white notions of what each and every single person is in this world. That's such a huge job, but isn't that what our job is? It kept going on in Los Angeles with typecasting to this day, where it's just like I get calls to play lawyers from my looks, and I'm like, people, there is no way I'm going to be able to play a lawyer. I know that is what I look like, but that's just not on the table.
The last film we're going to talk about is another small film that I highly, highly recommend. It's a film called Dirty God.
Healed well, Jade. We're really pleased with your progress.
Plastic surgery go wrong for you, love?
What if I give you like a monobrow like that?
I think it looks stupid.
Well, at the hospital now, yeah?
Yeah, for a little bit.
We need to see how things settle over the next 18 months or so. We really are where we need to be.
Oh, I'm not. I'm damned.
You ain't damned.
Mum, can you lend me some money? There's this clinic online that can fix my face. My God's different to your God. My God's the dirty God.
Hey, what happened to you? It ain't got nothing to do with God,
You can tighten it or loosen it however you like.
She's listening. Can we tell you a story?
Dirty God is written and directed by Sasha Pollak. She co-wrote the screenplay with Susie Farrell, and it's about a young mother who is the victim of a violent acid attack that left her scarred. And she, throughout the course of the film, is attempting to reclaim both her life and some sense of normality. This is a film that deals with a lot of issues as well, having to do with beauty, self-image, how people can be enormously cruel and judgmental. And as I mentioned in my interview with Tana, typecast you as something because of how you look or how they perceive you. Once again, this is a film that the lead actress is everything. This movie is about a lot of powerful things, but it is the power of her performance, Vicky Knight, who herself is a real burn victim and literally, pardon the pun, ignites the screen, that I would go so far as to say that this is a must-see. Dirty God is streaming right now on YouTube, Vudu, Amazon Prime, and a number of other places. The same with Two Ways Home. Ma Rainey is on Netflix. One Night in Miami is streaming on Prime Video. And Soul, of course, is on Disney+. If you're enjoying this program, please consider making a donation. You can go to give to, that's the number 2, WBAI.org. Happy New Year to everyone, and I'm Mike Sargent. This has been Real World, and until next time, I'll see you at the movies.
Everybody, I'm Harriet Cole, host of Dream Leapers, here on WBAI. I'm so happy to be part of the WBAI family and have been for several years now. At this time of year, we want to be generous to each other, to our families. It is the holiday season, and I just want to say to all of you, please include WBAI in your generosity. We have been here for 60 years offering you programming like no other station.